All right, let's talk about something that hits close to home for so many of us: hair loss. We're going to go way beyond just the surface level stuff today. We are going to dig deep and uncover the powerful, often overlooked reason why it's happening and how you might actually be able to reverse it.
You know that feeling, right? Seeing more hair in the brush or in the drain, or noticing things are getting a little thin up top. You've probably tried all the shampoos and foams, but what if the real solution isn't something you put on your scalp, but has everything to do with what's happening deep inside your body? Let's play detective for a bit.
Okay, first things first, let's look at the evidence. Have you ever wondered why hair loss almost always follows a specific pattern? I mean, think about it. For guys, the hair on the back and sides of the head is usually totally fine, but the top is what struggles. What is going on there? Why that specific area?
Well, this classic pattern has a name. It's called androgenic alopecia, and it is by far the most common reason for hair loss. In men, it gives you that textbook pattern baldness on top. For women, it's usually a bit different, more of an all-over thinning instead of a receding hairline. But the key takeaway here is that it's predictable. It follows a script.
To really get why this happens, we need to zoom way, way in. I want you to stop thinking of a hair follicle as just the hair. Instead, picture it like a tiny, microscopic factory buried in your scalp, and its only job is to build hair, 24/7. When the factory is running smoothly, you get healthy hair. But when it starts to have problems, well, production slows down.
Not like any factory, it's got a couple of critical needs to stay in business. It absolutely requires two things. First, a constant, rich supply of oxygen, delivered right to its doorstep by your blood. And second, it needs a ton of energy, which it gets from its own little power plants inside, called mitochondria. You take away either of those, and that factory is in big trouble.
So if our little hair factories are shutting down because they're being starved of oxygen and energy, the million-dollar question is, what's doing the starving? Who's cutting the supply lines? Well, we have a prime suspect, a really powerful hormone that's basically sabotaging the whole operation. It's time to unmask the culprit.
Meet DHT, which stands for dihydrotestosterone. It's a hormone that's derived from testosterone. But here's the crazy part. As we get older, our main testosterone levels can actually go down, but our bodies can get better at converting what's left into this much, much more potent version, DHT. And it's this spike in DHT that launches the attack. DHT has this three-part plan to take down your hair follicles. And attack number one, it goes right for the supply lines. When DHT levels get too high in the scalp, it actually causes the tiny blood vessels to shrink. It's literally choking off the follicle, starving it of that precious oxygen it needs to build hair. The second move in its playbook is to create a totally hostile work environment. DHT kicks off this chronic, low-level inflammation all around the follicle. This constant state of irritation just adds more damage, throwing a wrench into the delicate machinery that produces hair. And this is the knockout punch. That combination of no oxygen and constant inflammation eventually leads to scar tissue forming right around the base of the follicle. This fibrotic tissue physically squeezes the factory shut, making it literally impossible for a new hair to ever push through. The factory is officially out of business. Okay, so we've got our guy. DHT is the culprit. And the easy answer is to just say, oh, it's genetics, and call it a day, right? And sure, genetics play a part, but that's not the whole story. Genetics are like the loaded gun, but something else is pulling the trigger. So the real question is, what's signaling your body to make so much of this destructive hormone? And this is where we go one level deeper. Because behind DHT, our hormonal hitman, there is a metabolic mastermind pulling all the strings. We are about to uncover the true driver behind this whole process, a condition that a staggering number of people have and don't even know it.
And the mastermind is insulin resistance. This is the big one. It's a metabolic condition where your body cells basically start to ignore the hormone insulin. When that happens, your body freaks out and pumps out more and more insulin, which sets off a huge cascade of hormonal chaos, and your scalp is one of the first places to show the damage.
So how in the world does this work? Well, insulin resistance creates a perfect storm for hair loss in two key ways. First, all that excess insulin puts the enzyme that turns testosterone into DHT into hyperdrive. And at the same time, it messes with your liver's ability to do its job, so more free testosterone is just floating around, ready and waiting to be converted into that hair-killing DHT.
Okay, so now we know the enemy, DHT, and we know its mastermind, insulin resistance. Now we can finally build a real battle plan. We can't just attack this from one angle. We need a smart, multi-layered strategy that bites back on every single front.
Our strategy is a four-pronged attack. It's simple. First, we're going to prepare the environment, the scalp itself. Second, we're going to power up those little hair factories. Third, we'll work on improving the supply lines. And finally, step 4, we go on a direct offensive to weaken the enemy DHT.
Let's break down those first 2 steps. For step 1, preparing the environment, think of microneedling. It's like tilling the soil in a garden before you plant seeds. It creates a healing response that can wake up dormant stem cells. Then, for step 2, powering the factory, we can use red light therapy. It sounds fancy, but specific wavelengths of red light basically act like a battery charger for your mitochondria, giving them the juice they need to get back to work.
For step 3, we have to open up those supply lines. Now, a lot of people know about Rogaine, which works by widening the blood vessels to get more blood flowing. And that's fine, but check out a natural option like rosemary oil. It's amazing because it does that too, but it also helps inhibit DHT and reduces that nasty inflammation. It's like a triple threat in one bottle.
And finally, step 4, we weaken the enemy itself. Certain nutrients are non-negotiable here, like zinc and vitamin D. They are absolutely crucial for hair growth. Then you can bring in the big guns, natural DHT blockers like saw palmetto, pumpkin seed oil, and the powerful stuff in green tea. These all work to lower the levels of that damaging hormone in your system. But I have to be crystal clear about something. All of these steps are fantastic. They really are. But they're mostly dealing with the symptoms. For a real, lasting change, you cannot fully solve this problem until you address the original reason the fire started in the first place: insulin resistance. So let's bring this all home and talk about something you can do today. Let's talk about nutrition. Because if you want to fix insulin resistance and give your hair factories the raw materials they need, it all starts on your plate. Let's build the ultimate hair growth meal. And the 3 cornerstone ingredients might just surprise you. We're talking about liver, onions, and pumpkin seeds. Yes, you heard me right. This combination is an absolute powerhouse of nutrients that are specifically targeted to help you rebuild your hair from the inside out.
So why this exact combo? Well, liver is a legit superfood, packed with a type of iron your body can actually use, plus zinc and copper. Onions give you something called quercetin, which is an amazing natural anti-inflammatory to calm things down. And pumpkin seeds are loaded with magnesium and other minerals known to help block DHT. It's a perfect team. So, we've unmasked the culprit, DHT, and we've exposed its mastermind, insulin resistance. We've seen how a problem with your metabolism can show up right on top of your head, which really just leaves us with one final big question to think about. If your metabolism is powerful enough to control your hair, what other parts of your health and even how you age is it quietly directing right now?